Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. And it's getting ready to be afternoon. Happy Saturday to y'all. Let's get ready and get started with some stuff, okay? All right, we need to get ready and get information. Okay. So first of all, let me go ahead and make sure that I actually share this live on my actual page so that people can see it and come back later if they're doing something this afternoon. So good morning to you. Happy Saturday. Today is August 28th. My name is Bianca Goolsby, and I'm here to talk to you about a couple of things as promised. I was supposed to be here at 10 a.m., but to be very transparent with you, I was asleep. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. And so I deserve. So I just want to talk about a couple of issues and next steps for y'all to be intentional with. If you don't know, I am an education activist and I focus most of the advocacy work in the Tampa Bay area for our children. Our children deserve better. And so the title of today's episode is It's Important That We Are Intentional and That Our Children Are Worth Fighting For. And there's a bunch of issues that we need to discuss. And so I want to make sure that we are all on the same page. So, been seeing a lot of stuff that is being talked about on social media, and there's been a lot of questions like why is this being talked about on social media? Well, let me give you some clarity on that. So there's many people that will grab their phone and check social media without brushing their teeth, planning their day. Like that is one of the things that they do, and there's no judgment here. It happens, but literally social media has been one of the consistent places where if you want to get a message out, it is effective. And so it's very interesting to hear narratives about why is something posted on social media? Why are you having these conversations on social media when it's the place that you're at? This is where y'all wake up, you look at stuff, you want to put your opinion, and then have the audacity to tell somebody what they should or should not post on Facebook. It's very interesting. And I like your comment, take no prisoners. Listen, people lie, receipts don't. I've came in this space, I've always said that. And the reason why I have this whole stance on receipts is from my own personal experience, my own trauma, living life. And so this is why I operate in the way that I do. I wasn't always this way. And I encourage folks to be better humans. I was an awful human, but that was due to my trauma and I had to grow from that. And so this is why I continue to talk about the three keys of accountability, transparency, and integrity. I'm just not up here just saying that just to say it, folks. Like this is a real thing. Like we have to really be intentional if we want to move forward in our state. If you're watching this in Florida, our nation, if you're in the United States and across the world, there are people across the world that are watching. Hey sis, how you doing? Like literally people across the world that are watching this programming, and they might not have kids in Hillsborough County in the Tampa Bay area, but they care, and I care. And so this is why I'm here. So okay, there's a couple of things that I want to address today in today's broadcast. The first thing I want to talk about is the hand sanitizer. So, y'all know I have been talking about this hand sanitizer, particularly the ones that have been purchased with Hillsborough County Public Schools. And just for this one, let me go ahead and change my environment. So here we go. So I'm at the building, folks. So I'm talking about Hillsborough County Public Schools. Chris Farkas, one of the people that's over operations, is one of the people responsible for negotiating some of these deals for some of the PPE equipment that is currently. Hold on, y'all. Okay. So you have Chris Farkas that has sees some of these contracts for some of these vendors to provide supplies to the district. And last year in September, the beginning of last school year, I talked about the toxic hand sanitizer because I received pictures of children where they had marks on their hands based on the hand sanitizer because it's ethanol and it's not alcohol. And then it prompted me to do some research, and it was a team of surveillance cameras and people in the district that was helping me find out more information about this company and the product that they purchase that is all over their sanitation stations. And you have teachers that in their Amazon wish list, they are requesting a different brand of hand sanitizer because the hand sanitizer provided by the district smells like stale tequila. It has a chemical reaction to the wax on the floor, and it has some very questionable ingredients. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a link to a YouTube video. If you don't feel like reading the article, there's a whole article that was produced about this, by the way. And of course, you know, the media didn't cover it. And it's just so interesting how the media now wants to get involved so much so into what's happening in our classrooms due to this politicized debate about masks. But meanwhile, they haven't really been intentional about what's been happening in our schools all this time. I was trying to cue the violin. Where's the violin? Jesus, hold on. I need my sound effects in order. Uh-oh. Let me try it again. There you go. I just want to know, where have you been, media? Where have you been talking about the state of education, especially in Hillsborough County? This district is broke. You know that. I'll get to that later. First, let's talk about the hand sanitizer. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and I just want to play a snippet of a video that's publicly available that is receipts, folks. And I literally go to the website and break all of this down. I'm not going to share the whole video with you, but I literally go to the website in real time and I'm pulling up this information. The information that I pulled up has since been removed from the website. So this is why I'm glad that I have receipts and this video documents this website, because so let's go ahead and play some of this. I'm going to quickly roll the clip of when this was brought up. You're not even being accountable for what's happening. Where is my receipts I requested on August 13th? I want to know how much of these defective wipes you purchased. Let's discuss this defective PPE. The SDS of the foaming hand sanitizer has reproductive risk, and it turns the floor black due to the chemical reaction of the wax. We need people that's accountable, transparent, and operates in integrity. So this was a portion of my public. Okay, now I want to go back so that y'all can see this screen here. Okay, so this was a special call board meeting right before school started, and they were having conversations on whether or not they should open school or not, and what was going to be their plan as far as having e-learning, having social distant classrooms, and this whole thing that Addison Davis created that didn't even make any sense. Okay, I want you to look at the people that were on the board during this time. Okay, and I also want you to look to see who's not there anymore. Okay, so you have Cindy Stewart right here. Okay, y'all see her where my mouse is? Cindy Stewart. Now, this person has been on this board responsible for the financial mismanagement of Hillsborough County Public Schools. And y'all, meaning the folks, the voters in Hillsborough County, y'all decided that y'all wanted to make sure that she won a seat with the tax collector's office. I'm sorry, the clerk of court. That's Nancy. My bad, Nancy. You got nothing to do with this. I'm talking about sis at the clerk of court. So Cindy is now in the clerk of court, who's been responsible for this chaos that's been happening in Hillsborough County Public Schools because she's been on this board for a long time. Next person, Tamara, where I got so much hell by the Black community because they felt that if I were to hold a person accountable, that I was lying on them, that we have to stand together. And meanwhile, this district is broke. Your kids are in classrooms with no AC. And guess where Tammy's at? She's in her franchise over in Temple Terrace. and she's out here posting articles about the state of chaos that we're in, that she was directly a part of. You know that she was over the finance committee, responsible for the finance issues that we're having. And I get all these attacks. I've been here and done this, and this is why I say I'm tired, because instead of folks looking at the receipts and intentionally looking at this stuff, y'all decide that y'all want to come with these narratives and not really be intentional with the information provided to you. And then now all these people out the woodwork want to call my phone and say, thank you, Bianca. Keep that same energy, because I am so tired of people that want to make these private phone calls, but you had so much to say on social media when all this stuff is going down. And all I was trying to do was to tell the district, along with several other people, y'all need to follow this money. There's no reason why $61 million should be depleted from the general fund in 1 month and the stuff don't add up. So she's gone. You have Melissa, who will be gone in 2022. I was told, and this is an allegation, I was told that she was advised and she was aware that her running to take any type of seat in the Board of County Commission would not be feasible for her. And so I guess she's going to run again for school board if she wants, this political power that she desires so much. So if there's someone in District 4 that wants to run against her, I suggest y'all start coming up with a plan right now. You have Steve Kona, who was also on the finance committee, along with Melissa Snively and Tamara Schamberger. Kona wants to go back and forth on social media about following the law when he couldn't follow this budget. So this is why I say it's so important to be intentional, because right now we're broke. Also to note, this woman right here, Gretchen Saunders, she is not in our district anymore. She was our CFO, and she's currently over finances in St. Johns County. How she was able to get that job, beyond me. And then right here, this is Dr. Michael Kemp. Dr. Michael Kemp resigned. Him and his wife left, and they no longer work for the district. Again, this all happened. This is August 28, 2020, and just look at the amount of changes that has taken place. So the rest of this video, an email went out which prompted this whole video and investigation, and why I'm asking you guys to share this and start asking questions. So the district sent an email, and so the email is listed up here so that you can read. And basically, it said that the foam hand sanitizer was approved, and they have certain restrictions. It does not identify about the chemical reaction that when it hits the wax, that it turns the floor black, nor did it identify anything about the reproductive health risk that was identified on the SDS. We're going to take a deep dive into that because there's some questions surrounding that. So, okay. So this video, it's really detailed, and I literally go through the website and show you all of this stuff, but I do want to focus on this email because it's going to lead me to my next topic. So there have been educators that have been posting about this hand sanitizer this school year. Now, again, I reiterate that this was disclosed last school year about this toxic hand sanitizer. This was an email last year that Kim Bays, who has moved into a different role now, had sent to the staff. Okay. And so they said that there had to be some confusion as far as the safety of this hand sanitizer, although the receipts are very, very clear on this. So it says must be stored in an air conditioned environment, and it must be stored away from any spark, source, or flame. Okay. Now, while I am on live, I literally just got a message that Kim Bay's wife still works at the district. So, oh my God. I'm gonna tell you this. There's been some issues between Dr. Michael Kemp and Addison. Now, I text Addison. I had some questions for him. He called me because he didn't want no receipts on the matter, and so I ain't gonna go too deep into that. But somebody needs to look into that, because even when Dr. Michael Kemp applied to be the superintendent of Polk County, Addison Davis didn't even write him a recommendation letter. But you know who did? Steve Kona. So I don't know. Dr. Michael Kemp, he's gone, but the wife is still there apparently. And this is what I just got on my phone. So I don't know, but I'm just here to tell you. So I'm correcting the record. I thought the wife left, and they both gone. So that means that the wife still worked there. And there's some questions that people need to ask in regards to that. But back to this email though. So it says that it must be stored in an air conditioned environment. Well, so can anyone tell me why that would be an issue if this hand sanitizer is approved with the following restrictions? And the restrictions is that it must be stored in an air conditioned environment. Can someone please tell me, please, why that would be an issue? Well, it would be an issue because there's many schools and classrooms that do not have working AC. Therefore, this hand sanitizer is not following approval, because it must be stored in an air conditioned environment. And if the AC doesn't work, then it's not being stored in the air conditioned environment. But not only that, this whole email is a bunch of BS. And if you watch the video, you will see why. I even reached out to the manufacturer of the toxic hand sanitizer. I never received a response back, but this is what I'm telling y'all folks. Like, so it brings me to my next issue. The issue is with the AC. And so there's many schools that have had issues with the air condition. I want to take a trip to 2019. And this was back when Jeff Akins was the superintendent. And so I want to just go a trip down memory lane about your sales tax dollars and what y'all voted for about these ACs and what's happening. So let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Here at Mitchell Elementary today, what we're doing is we're celebrating a little bit because we just received the very first installment from the January sales tax collections, over a $9 million check. It was really today a day to say thank you. Thank you to our residents who entrusted their votes to Hillsborough County Public Schools, to the teachers and the students here in Hillsborough.
So excited that the community decided to step up and support our schools that desperately needed this money, and to see it put into action right away. I mean, as soon as the district received the money, to see it, actively being used is incredible. So lucky to be in this 100-plus-year-old building, which is gorgeous and a privilege, but these schools need a lot of maintenance. This summer, they're going to paint the whole interior of the school, which is great. We're going to have paved parking lots. I know in the long-term projects, we'll be getting new ACs, which, is desperately needed here in Florida. I'm just thrilled. I've never been so nervous during an election, and I'm thrilled that this referendum passed because we needed the funds so badly.
We're very appreciative, and we thank the voters of Hillsborough County for getting behind the tax and getting behind the needs of students in this community. So this is a long-awaited bucket of money that we look forward to being able to responsibly put back into our schools, and so we're really excited about this first check installment.
I've been so impressed with the way the district has handled this, starting from when this was going to be placed on the ballot, and they did a great job educating the community on why these funds are so desperately needed, and they've been very transparent. Every school knew what they were going to get ahead of the vote, but at the same time, I feel like they've been flexible and open to input from the schools about what our needs are. So they've been very transparent and very open. I just think it's been handled great.
Over the next 10 years, we're going to have all the projects that we've been deferring for years taken care of. Our schools will look beautiful. We'll be building more schools. We'll be taking care of overhauling AC units. We'll be fixing roofs, replacing playgrounds, doing all the things that our students and teachers absolutely deserve. So we're excited to be here, and we just want to say thank you.
So, yeah, when we talk about transparency, I just wish that this district has been transparent about the finances, so the community wouldn't find out on the news that they're facing state receivership because of budget mismanagement. There's people that work in this district that should have left this district a long time ago because they have not been effective in their role and haven't been intentional with the way that they maintain buildings, that they haven't been intentional with the way that they communicate with families. And that has to change. And so it's very disheartening when there's folks that constantly say, oh my gosh, the people that are speaking up about what's happening is so negative. We don't talk about the positive. But this is what I will tell you. There is a culture in the education system that unless you are inside, you have no idea. And this is what pains me, is when people get on social media and everyone is entitled to their own opinions, but their opinions are limited to their own perspective. And the issue with that is when we are so adamant about being right, but we have such a limited perspective as to what we're really talking about. And I think that this is probably one of the reasons why social media has been such a divisive tool, as effective as it can be. But it's been also used negatively with continuing the divide and the polarization and politic topics. The fact that you had people ripping off masks off of educators, they're showing up to the school board cussing and hollering, but yet they say that they're advocating for children. I just have a hard time processing that, because I just want to know, are you a good role model for children? Seriously. Is this the way that we're supposed to advocate? So when it comes to this mask mandate and this lawsuit, I really hope that people are intentional with Judge Cooper's, sorry, y'all. Okay. I really hope that y'all are intentional with listening to what Judge Cooper said. His ruling was over 2 hours and told the defendants that they have a right to appeal as by the law. However, he has documented and was very intentional and broke this entire case down for non-lawyers and community members to understand, because he knew the implications that this ruling would have on a bunch of things. The fact that we continue to talk about freedom and rights while you are taking away someone else's freedom and rights is messed up. And so at what point will we as humans come together and find common ground? I always look for the common ground, because no matter your ideology, no matter your political preference, the party that you identify with, we can always find common ground, unless you have a fixed mindset and you're not willing to see the other side, the other perspective, and have empathy to try to understand that other person's side. And this is why politics is so dangerous, because you have folks that are so stuck in their view that they don't have a growth mindset, and they're making policy decisions for you, for your children, for your aunties, your cousins, your nieces. So no matter where you live, it is really important that you are aware of who. I tell you, boy, these dogs are on one today. Sorry. So I have a house guest, and so the dogs are just all over the place right now. So anyway, all I'm saying is y'all have to be intentional with these ballots. When these folks are running for office, you need to make sure that you vet these people so that you know exactly who these people are, if they have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset, and if they're willing to advocate for all of the people in their districts that they represent and not the handful of people who's always the loudest in the room. It's important, folks, and this is why I talk about it. I emphasize this. It is important. And to the comments, Cooper is amazing. Yes. And he broke everything down. So when Ron DeSantis and the Florida Department of Education issued their statements, I was really confused as to why they made the statements the way that they did, because if they intentionally listened to what the judge had to say, I don't understand why they made statements that they did. And if they want to appeal it, but don't say that we're appealing it based on a violation of the law. The judge actually intentionally went through this step by step to make sure that there were no confusions, because he was aware of the political polarization of this particular topic, which I'm just trying to figure out why. For those that live in Hillsborough County, just understand how much wealth is in Hillsborough County. Okay? Now, I want you to take that, and then I want you to look at the wealth that's in Hillsborough County and the folks that have been left behind. Then I also want you to look at the education system and the children that are being harmed in this system, with the highest number of underperforming schools in the nation. I'm sorry, not in the nation, in the state. So I'm going to end you with this, because it's so interesting how Ron DeSantis talks about local control unless a district does something that he disagrees with. That's not democracy. And I continue to hear words of democracy. We have to protect our Constitution, but the Constitution works both ways. You can't pick and choose what parts of a document that you want to take and say, this is what we're going to do. Judge Cooper literally outlined information that was intentionally removed from Ron DeSantis' executive order, which he didn't even say that Florida was in a state of emergency. So his executive order, he had no authority to make an emergency order anyway, because he had no emergency power, because the state of Florida wasn't in a state of emergency. But we continue to have the Jesus. Hold on, I'm gonna get my dog. Come here, buddy. Y'all say hey to Henry, because he's on one. Okay, he's gonna stand right here and be with me while I close this out. So Judge Cooper talked about how, children are required to wear safety gear. Where's the parental rights for that? Y'all have the right to get drunk and do everything that you want to do, but that doesn't give you the right to drive and impair someone's life and family because you drive it impaired and you want to get into a car accident. Okay, that's not right. The last thing that I want to share with y'all is this FSA data. And I think that this is actually happening across the state because the numbers are just not adding up. And originally I thought that this was just Hillsborough, but this is actually across the state. And I want to say that I hope that there's not any type of data manipulation that's happening to claim that, you know, we are bridging the gap in this pandemic, because the FSA data is pretty scary, especially to notice the declines in our FSA data when it's broken down by grade level. And so there just needs to be some transparency on the calculation on how these schools. Siri, I wasn't talking to you though. I just don't understand it. So there's a link. You can go school by school, you can go site by site and research it yourself. I'm going to create a PowerPoint presentation about it, but I'm just going to be very transparent with you that, you know, I have to take a break in this. And, you know, I will be coming back soon. I'm not going to be having a morning tea and allegations. I was thinking about season 3, but I actually changed the title of the series, and it's called Broken Dysfunctional, because then it actually kind of encompasses a lot more stuff that I want to talk about, that I'm passionate about, instead of just talking about the local school districts. But this is actually a statewide issue and a nationwide issue with the state of public education and how our children are being left behind. Because I received a call yesterday that, you know, people are looking for a child and the records stop in 2016. And I'm just trying to figure out, in all the school policies and the truancy laws that are out here, how could a child be missing from a public school system all these years? We're talking about 4+ years, 5 years, that there's no records on a child and the child didn't opt out to be out of school. So I have questions, and you should too, because the question should be, how many children are also in that same situation? How many of them are faced in the same obstacle where they haven't shown up at school? Nobody's checked for them to see where they're at, to make sure that they have resources that they need. But yet the district claims that we're spending all this money for mental health and finding folks, when there's children that have been thrown out and discarded in this system. One of the wealthiest counties and all these underperforming schools. So while we have a mayor and while we have these elected leaders that want to constantly brag about, you know, Champa Bay being a championship city, and you want to talk about how these sport teams are doing great, I also want you to acknowledge that we have a failing school system, that if you were not aware of this, then you also need to be removed from your seat, because these elected positions require you to be intentional with all these systems to make sure that people are not being left behind. That is exactly my point. Our children deserve better. And so I come on here to just tell y'all what's happening. If y'all are in Patreon, I will be more in Patreon, because I appreciate my equalizers and my supporters in that regard. I just need y'all to be intentional. There's a comment here that says, in every election, there's an enemy, and DeSantis is setting up local school boards as the enemy of freedom. Many have moved to Florida to escape the lockdowns that have imperialized families' ability to pay their bills, and DeSantis has given them the appearance of a safe haven. All he does and says is at the stage for his re-election strategy. I thank you for sharing that, Carol. I literally saw where people were trying to protest school board members at their own home. This is unacceptable. I've seen graphics where they had 5 school board members in Hillsborough County and a graphic that say the top 5 criminals, and y'all just posting this on social media, and they're not a criminal for using their local control to do what's best for the children. And just because you don't agree with that, you have options. And again, I don't have an option where I'm currently waiting. I was supposed to go through this process to see if they had an opportunity to repair the flap in my heart. The longer that we wait, the longer that I'm going to have a mechanical valve in place, and that's going to impact me for the rest of my life. I don't have a choice because there's folks that's out here that want to talk about their freedom and wearing a mask or not. There's other people who were scheduled to have surgery where the hospitals are so full that it is cross-contamination to the point that it's not even safe for some folks to have the surgeries that they need because COVID is just running all up and through there. And meanwhile, you have folks that want to continue to talk about their freedom, their choice. So please be intentional, follow the money, hold your local leaders accountable. I'm so excited for the 22 election and the work that Teaching for the Culture is doing. I'm so excited for the new series, Broke and Dysfunctional. We have new shows that are coming on Teaching for the Culture, and I'm so excited for the movement work that's happening. We're in our final stage of our trademark, and God has really been moving in that regard. But just like I had to walk away from being in the classroom due to my mental health, what I won't do is place myself in the same situation because there's people that want to provide me receipts because they don't want to say anything. And at what point are you going to say something? At what point, what are you going to do? So whoever is watching this later, whoever is whatever you are, wherever you are, what are you going to do to make this world a better place? What are you going to do in your capacity, your lane, your path that you're going to make this world a better place? And it's going to look different for everybody, but our children deserve better. So I hope that for a moment, y'all take a moment to just power down off y'all cell phones and stop with trying to copy other folks and stay in other people's lane and just focus on you. And advocate for our children and do what God, the ancestors, whatever you believe in that they called you to do. But we can't move forward as a state, as a nation, as the world until we realize that we have to be better humans to each other. And until people realize that they have to have empathy and have a growth mindset and being willing to not be right. And accept the results as what they are. And to say we're going to agree with this and we're going to work with this and we're going to make this a better place. Because there are elected officials calling the president of the United States a traitor. Now let that sit with you. Because some years ago, that's something where you could get arrested for by saying stuff about our leader. But, and you have elected officials saying that, can we get mean tweets back? It's deplorable. It is. It's deplorable. And I just hope that y'all do better because our children deserve better. And they don't deserve to be in this. They don't deserve to continue to be gaslit and told them that they're going to survive in this world. Meanwhile, all these systems are being broken due to capitalism. Capitalism has destroyed our country. And until we recognize it for what it is and we make intentional steps to move forward and be better, the cycle will always continue. So, yeah. The dogs are fed up and I am too. So I love y'all. Y'all have a great day. Y'all be blessed. And I'll see y'all the next time that I come on here. And please make sure that you follow Teaching for the Culture because we really shaking some stuff up this season.
Please keep my name about your mouth and mind your business. Mind your business.
Name about your mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Please keep my name about
your mouth.
Bye. Y'all have a good day. I love y'all. I don't know why I forgot to remove myself. Bye.